Hello, I'm Nathan and welcome to Serious Geeks. Today I'd like to be a little bit self-indulgent and engage in a bit of wishlisting. Wishlisting, if you're not familiar with the term, is where you make a list of things that you wish were coming, and in this case, it's 40k related. We all know that there is a big Warhammer 40,000 preview this weekend, and as such, it's easy to get carried away with the hype, and I'm no exception to that. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I'm a big fan of Necrons, and Necrons, at least in this part of the wish listing, is not going to be that unusual or that unlikely. First thing, as I did mention previously, is I'd like to say Necron Warriors. I'd like to see new Necron Warriors for the Necron race. Necron Destroyers, preferably new character models with a lot more customizable options. And lo and behold, Catan. I would like to have the big Lovecraftian horrors back in the game in a big way. Perhaps some big Lord of War kits, that'd be amazing. Rule-wise, I'd like full rules to support all of those things, as you'd probably expect. A new codex would be nice. An updated version from Psychic Awakening is probably acceptable, and I think most of us expect that. Don't think that's going to be revealed much on this weekend, but you never know, there might be some models released for it. But my wish list in there is some off-the-wall craziness. I mean, they can have some new units. Flayed ones, I'd like to see some new flayed ones coming out with some perhaps updated rules to make them a bit more horrifying. Definitely something with the Catan that is big and bad. Preferably with options. Again, I'm not too fussed with exactly the specifics. I just want these big, nasty creatures in my games because I love the flavour that they bring to the Warhammer 40,000 environment. Moving on from Necrons, the very next thing I would love to see, and it's a total wish list, and it'll probably never happen, is a Codex Legion of the Damned. I'd love to see that. We had it back in 3rd edition, for those of us who may remember. The 3rd edition rules for Warhammer 40,000 actually had a White Dwarf magazine-based rule set that was entirely Legion of the Damned. They didn't have much. Back then, no armies really did. But they had the basis of an army, and I'm sure if Andy Chambers, the Grand Overfiend himself, if he was still in the helm, we would have probably seen a Codex Legion of the Damned way before now. I still have hope we will see it. I don't want it just to be Space Marines ported in Legion of the Damned colours. Blimey, that was a mouthful. I'd like to see something else. I'd like to see a little bit of craziness, because essentially they are the living apparitions of the Emperor's will. So, I don't know if anyone's read Master of Mankind. Spoilers. You ready? Well, Master of Mankind had a lot of information of the Emperor's ability to imbue his subjects with power and actually create apparitions that would fight for him. And the Legion of the Damned were basically described in battle against a demon horde. And it was phenomenal. There was even a Ferrus Manus lookalike. I think it was just an apparition, but let's be honest, Legion of the Damned can do that. They can actually bring ghostly creatures and monsters, all of the Emperor's mind, the Emperor's imagination. They could go really off the wall with it. They could bring in stuff from the Dark Age of technology and the techno-barbarians of Earth. Essentially, it's a way to really expand on what the Emperor is all about, to really make a dark corner of the Imperium come alive. And yeah, I would welcome that. Really don't think it's likely. I think we're much more likely to see Lionel Johnson come back as a 41st millennium model, a Warhammer 40,000 model, over an actual Legion of the Damned codex. But you never know. I would love to see it. Hopefully other people would as well, so we might see it one day. Something not quite as crazy, a new Codex World Eaters. I know that a lot of people would appreciate that, and a demonic Primarch of Angry Ron, or Angron, depending on which way you want to call him. It does sound a lot like Angry Ron, doesn't it? Yeah, Angron would be a great model. I think a lot of people would welcome that in their collection, regardless of whether they collect World Eaters or even Chaos in general. And the Codex World Eaters, it really did set me alight when I read the Betrayer novel by Aaron Dembski Bowden. That novel was amazing, and it really brought to light a lot of the struggles and thought processes behind the World Eaters and Khan the Betrayer. Obviously before he was titled The Betrayer. But yeah, it was a hell of a novel, and I really recommend anyone who's even a remote fan of the Horus Heresy, or even just Space Marines in general, just pick up Betrayer. You will not be disappointed. It's one of the best books I've ever read for 40k. Horus Heresy or any Games Workshop novel. Anyway, because of that novel, I've always wanted to see what World Eaters would do in a whole codex format. Give them the Death Guard treatment. I think we would all appreciate some demon engines, brass skulls, flaming machine guns, I don't know, whatever. There's all sorts of stuff from the old epic days, the Blood Cauldron that they can include. And, a load of new units that are wholly bestial and just grotesque in their proportions, monstrous, but also a hardcore of infantry that is the World Eaters themselves. They still exist and they still have hopes, dreams and aspirations. So I'd like to see that on the tabletop, and I think that it's long overdue. Plus a Angron model would just be immense, and it would really put a lot of intimidation on the table to anyone. You got Gazgol, have you? Well, we got Angry Ron. The last thing I'd like to talk about is probably less likely than Codex Legion of the Damned, and that would be new classic Space Marines. I don't mean, do away with Primaris. No, Primaris are here to stay. They're a very popular line. The models are very spectacularly built, and yeah, we can't expect them not to be here. No, this is something a bit different. This is breacher units, destroyers, in plastic, that can be used for both 40k and 30k. And the reason I say that is because it has been done before. It would really boost up the numbers for those of us who want to play the 30k era of games, which is predominantly the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness, I believe it's called, as opposed to 40k. And yeah, I think if we go down that route, we'll have a unit of say 10 breachers, which for those who are not informed of what a breacher is, it's a Space Marine with either a bolter or a sword, close combat weapon of some sort, and an oversized shield that covers their entire body that enables them to be better protected for void warfare, ship-to-ship combat, siege, and all sorts of close combat situations. Now, they have quite a cult following in the actual Horus Heresy games, and it would be great if we could see some classic Marines that could be used, basically replacement of tactical Marines perhaps, an upgrade rule set, or just a separate, breacher Space Marines. And, they could be either an elite slot or preferably a troops slot, depending on the stats of them. And they can be used for 40k. And then, of course, I could buy 30, 40 of them, give them, the appropriate helmets. With a bit of luck, they'll be built with different Nock Mark 7 helmets, but something like iron armour, which is a lot more heresy friendly, but also looks great and it's very fitting for someone who's carrying around a massive shield. Yeah, and I would buy 30 straight off the bat, and I would add it to my Ultramarines, and they could be used both for 30k and 40k. And then, of course, I can continue my expansion into both those rule sets with further purchases. I think it's a no-brainer. And a similar thing would be the Destroyers. Destroyers, for those who are uninitiated in 30k lore, are generally there with the forbidden weapons. And it makes sense in 40k that Gilliman might bring out a lot of those sort of forbidden weapons to cleanse the galaxy of all the horrible things that seem to be erupting to beset and assail humanity. So yeah, I think those units, they are a jump pack unit, so they could be an upgrade, say, for Assault Marines. They can make Assault Marines relevant again. They could even be just an upgrade sprue, second bolt pistol, and then you buy yourself a pack of Assault Marines, and you've got almost the whole set of destroyers ready to go. You could just buy the upgrade sprue. These options, so easy, and yet I think they'd be so successful. However, I don't see that happening anytime soon. There is an outside chance, of course, if they want to expand on 30k, but a lot of 30k players, they've been going for quite some time now, and they've stalled a little bit on releases, so I'm not sure where they are with that. As for 40k, I think the focus is entirely going to be on Primaris, so I don't think we'll see those classic Marines come in. But, as long as people are happy buying their models, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, those are just some of the thoughts I have with Wishlisting in 40k. I'm very excited about it, so I just wanted to get it out there, talk to you guys about it. Hopefully you've liked what you heard today. Please like, subscribe, comment below with your own ideas of what we should have. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, be nice to each other. Love and peace, that is the greater good. Oh wait, no, we don't talk Tau here, do we? Sorry, but be nice anyway, regardless. So yeah, I'll catch you all soon. Thank you very much, goodbye.